Today, friends on the Economic Hammer channel, we're going to talk about heavy metal music genres and their connection to an ideology called Economic Royalism. Economic Royalism is an ideology followed by people called Economic Royalists. These people called Royalists use their combined wealth to infiltrate government, overturn or replace laws, and eventually their greed leads to collapse of your country. And you see, just about everything in this world can connect back to economic royalism, if you look hard enough. Now, one of the things that really sticks out to me is the fact that thrash metal has been singing about social and political injustice for 44 years. Thrash bands have always saw the injustice on society. They have felt the corruption and they put that into their music with fire and speed. But what thrash metal didn't have all these years was a proper name for the enemy behind it all. So folks, I'm here to show you how economic royalism, thrash metal, and honestly metal music in general are very connected to each other. They've been connected without knowing it, but they're going to know it now, my viewer. Economic royalism can be dated to starting in the United States in 1981. That was the year the federal tax cuts on the top wealth bracket opened the door for the economic royalists to rise to power in America. And it's easily possible to date thrash metal back to 1981 too, with the band Holocaust and the song Mavrock. This is not a super well-known song, but in the last minute of that track, you can hear it. The speed picks up, the vocals drop away, and the riffs drive harder and harder until it sounds like something brand new is being born right at the same time. America was about to start losing democracy to royalists. From this point on in 1981, just about every thrash metal band carried political fire in their lyrics, like injustice, corruption, war, and greed. These issues in their lyrics also just so happen to be the very things created by economic royalism and its users, economic royalists. Thrash metal indirectly sang about royalists all the way back then, in the 1980s, and thrash metal is still singing about royalism today. You see, what thrash metal didn't have was the name of the system it was fighting. That system was and still is economic royalism. This is the enemy thrash metal has always been singing about, folks. Thrash bands saw the injustice, thrash bands felt the anger, and now we finally put a name to their longtime nemesis, the economic royalists. And my friends, I can really take you back further in time to where metal music beginnings itself is intertwined with the political formings of economic royalism. Originally in America, from 1964 through 1968 was the time when economic royalism was trying to find politicians to get back into power. By 1968, economic royalists were hoping for a return to president, and the royalists were successful. Once royalism earned that foothold, social unrest was off and running in America all through the 1970s. This 1968 year of royalism just so happens to be the same year that In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida by the band Iron Butterfly hit the scene. This is a heavy-sounding track that, although not a political song, it is what many point to as the birth of heavy metal. From 1968 and on, metal music followed royalist politics like a ghost all the way to 1981. The 1970s are full of examples. Black Sabbath writing War Pigs 1970 was a direct attack on royalist politicians who send the poor to die for profit. Pink Floyd's Money in 1973, which addressed royalist greed. Judas Priest with Tyrant 1976, calling out royalist authoritarian power. Motorhead with Bomber 1979, pounding out the sounds of royalist destruction and war. So you see, to me, heavy metal music was political, intertwined lyrically from the very start of economic royalism, creeping back into the country of America in the 70s. But just like thrash metal later on, metal has never had the name for what it was writing lyrics against, but that name they needed was, and still is, economic royalists, the mortal enemies of democracy. Now, if you fast forward through the years all the way to present day, you'll see that thrash metal has never stopped writing lyrics about hidden economic royalism. Bands like Havok and Power Trip nowadays have carried the torch, still raging against corruption, still raging against greed, and still raging against injustice. They've continued to sing about this mysterious, invisible royalism entity that lives like a shadow behind the suffering of ordinary people. But now, my friends in the metal community, we finally have a name and a target, and that target is the users of economic royalism, the economic royalists. So I say this right now to the world. It's time for thrash metal to turn their guitars towards these democracy-hating royalist bastards and give them what they deserve. For more information on economic royalism and how to scan for economic royalists around you, please visit economicroyalism.com. Before you go, please like, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications so you get my latest videos when they drop. Thanks for watching.